Hello everyone, welcome back to When the Night Comes. I think that's the name of this game, I don't remember. But lastly, we've met a demon, a vampire, a lichen werewolf person, a hunter, the person that's above me that I gotta go talk to, August, and also the witch guy. So, lots of characters, lots of fun characters. I like the voice acting in this. I love the art in this. The backgrounds are really good. I really enjoy this. And let's just carry on with this and see what happens. If you end up liking this video, like it. Click the button. If you click it on your phone, it makes a cool animation. Did you know that? That's a secret fact that D-Dog can only tell you. And where am I going? Why am I going down here? Okay. I make it to the enforcement headquarters with time to spare after August's thinly veiled threat about tardiness yesterday. I had a terrible night's sleep on scratchy sheets, and I couldn't possibly feel less ready to face my less than friendly superior. I raise my fist to knock on the door, but the muffled conversation that I hear coming from inside has me hesitating. It sounds heated, and I glance at the clock on the wall behind me to check the time. I have 1 minute before I'm sure General Willenheim will admonish me for being late. So, I take a deep breath and I knock. The voices stop suddenly. I hear a clack of heels and then... Yes. Oh, that's you. They quickly glance at the clock.
Oh, you're on time at least. Congratulations.
Uh-huh.
I know it's terribly cozy out there, but please come in.
Wow, the music is still real loud in here. There we go. I nod politely and quickly step into the enforcer's office. It's beautifully decorated with neatly arranged bookcases lining the walls that are laden with a collection of trinkets and tomes that possibly rivals Ezra's. There's a huge desk in the middle that overflows with reports and letters and a half-empty ink pot with elegant sapphire quill poised and ready. Then, as if I'm experiencing a vivid case of deja vu, Piper appears before me looking decidedly less impressed than she did in the tavern yesterday. Hunter plays games. Yep, that's me. Let's look at August. I sense a serious tension in the air, and I'm unsure of how I should proceed. I've clearly interrupted something here, and I'd hate to make it worse or anger General Wilhelm in any way. It is my first day, after all. August sighs loudly, rolling their eyes and waving their hand at us dismissively.
You don't need my permission to talk, you know. But do hurry up. We have work to do.
Piper scoffs, folding her arms around her chest decisively.
In fairness, it's hard to tell when you have a stick so firmly lodged up your ass.
Ha!
I remember my first day with you. I felt like I couldn't sneeze without you wanting to murder me.
August stares her down, lip twitching. Yes, Will, you might have been correct. Anyway, they run their hand along the edge of their desk, inspecting their perfectly dust-free fingertips as Piper huffs in their general direction.
I know you have very important business to attend to, but I'm not finished with you yet, Willenheim.
Is that so?
I've given you your mission. You've complained about it loudly. So, pray tell, Major, what else could there possibly be?
Piper flinches, and I see her demeanor shift, her emerald determination withering and dying at that word that rolls off August's tongue, a harsh reminder of her demotion and one that clearly stings. I wonder if I'll ever get the chance to ask her about it, to finally know exactly what happened, what she did that warranted her being made such an example
Nice,
of.
August. Really nice.
You could quite literally cut the tension in here with a dull-bladed dagger. It's not awkward at all. We have a meeting. We have a meeting, General. August sighs, glancing at Piper almost guiltedly, but the sorry expression fades the second she meets their gaze. Yes, we do. Is that everything for today, Merriman? Is it I wasn't asking. They take a deep breath, pinching the bridge of their nose between their forefinger and thumb. You're dismissed for today, Merriman. They stare each other down, and I wonder how the hell they ever managed to become one of the most successful elimination teams in all of Escria. I've heard countless weird and wonderful stories of their partnership, of Piper's unparalleled strength and August's unmatched intelligence, but here, now? All I see is a dispirited hunter and an impossibly tired enforcer. Harry is on his way, and I suggest you depart quickly.
Shit.
She blanches at that, and I can almost hear her admitting defeat. Her shoulders relax and furrow as her brow fades.
Fine. I'll go and look for your possibly a small chimera, but probably a big fucking cat. One day you'll have to stop punishing me, you know.
Piper grabs a set of expensive-looking daggers from the chair in front of the desk, strapping them to her back with haste. She pauses in front of me, and those dark eyes soften as she meets my gaze.
See you around, Hunter. Enjoy your important meeting, and remember what I said. Foot. Ass.
She chances another glance at August, and they suddenly become very interested in studying their perfectly manicured nails. With a wink, she fully spins to face August, sparring up to them playfully. The Enforcer towers above her, still uncaring, still unbothered. Twat. And with that, she turns her head and slams the door so hard it shakes its frame. August walks around to the back of their desk, practically falling into the well-used leather chair. I scan the piles upon piles of paperwork that litters the surface, taking in the countless reports and letters, scribbled diagrams, and gruesome drawings. I get the impression August is in over their head. The disorder of all of this information makes my fingers twitch. They watch me carefully, stifling a yawn with a trembling hand. I know, trust me, I know. As much as I hate to admit it, we've got nothing. As of right now, I suspect everyone in this town, as should you. Though I may not really know them just yet, I sense this kind of vulnerability I'm seeing is rare. August doesn't strike me as the type to admit defeat so easily, and something more serious than the usual stress of the job seems to be lingering under the surface. After what I witnessed back in Ezra's shop, I can't help but wonder what they were like before all of this, the way the young witch looked at them. It was a pity. Ezra pitied August. August huffs a quiet laugh and relaxes in their chair, and for the first time since we met, they seem to let their guard down.
I don't know why Harry decided you were the right person for this job above all others, but I trust him implicitly. So, whatever plan he has for you, we had better make it work.
They pause, staring me down with those icy blue eyes. Now, are you ready to begin? I think I am. Yes, let's start. Always, General. Oh, this one's got a heart by it. Does that mean I could, like, unlock something if I go this route? I don't... Can I play more than one field? Screw it. What's the worst that could happen? I feel emboldened as the piercing gaze bores into me, something twisting deep in my gut. I lean forward in the chair to make sure they see me. Really see me. I can't wait to see where our partnership takes us, General Willenheim. August presses their fingers to their lips, appraising me. Oh, really? I think we can achieve absolutely anything together if we truly wanted to. Though they're clearly trying to hide it, I see their lips twist into a sly grin.
And you state this after knowing me for a mere day and a half. How bold.
I mean, you're kind of cute. I know what I'm capable of, and you're quite prolific, you know. Their long, dark lashes kiss the top of their lightly flushed cheeks, a pretty shade of dusky rose painting their pale skin as they lean in. Closer, closer, close enough for me to get the flecks of violet that swirl at the outer edge of their impossibly blue irises. August is magic, overflowing with it. It pours out of them in waves. I can feel it deep in my bones and settling upon my skin. Call it a gut feeling. A quiet, careful laugh, and suddenly they don't look quite so tired anymore.
I suppose you hunters hold quite the advantage over me with your gut feelings, don't you?
August tilts their head, their face doing something strange, an expression too quick to catch appearing before they settle back into that implacable ease that they've mastered so wonderfully. They curl the corner of the page that settles beneath their fingertips, where their hands have drawn closer to me at the edge of the desk. They clear their throat, and their next words seem noticeably husky. Regardless, I do hope you're right, Hunter. Plays games. They pause. Rather, I look forward to testing your theory. I smile, genuine and warm. Me too, and please, call me D-Dog. We're going to be partners after all.
It's very well, but you will still call me General.
I will call you General. I laugh, but I nod my agreement. Of course, General. I hear footsteps in the hallway, and August quickly rises to their feet. They straighten their clothing and tie their sash a little tighter. I follow their lead and move to stand by their side, my heart hammering triple time in my chest as those footsteps draw nearer. There's a distinct clang of metal, of armor and heavy boots. Then the door swings open and an imposing figure enters the room. His gaze flickers between myself and August, his expression stern and almost emotionless. I've heard many tales about Harold Eddington III, and he stands before me. I feel a certain sense of pride that he would choose to summon me to deal with such a vital case. He's adorned in the standard enforcer colors of black and gold, but his outfit is far more regal than any of the other higher-ranking officials I've seen. A wide smile breaks out across his scarred lips, and he pulls Augustine into a tight embrace, a deep, comforting chuckle rumbling in his
Old
chest.
friend, how the devil are you? It's been a while. Too long, I say.
He pulls away, still firmly holding onto August's shoulders. You look exhausted. Have you not been sleeping? August offers him a wry smile as Harry drops his hands. I'm trying to sleep. Does that count? Harry throws him a look, something stern but edged with a certain fondness, one that a father might give to their child.
Look after yourself, Augustus.
August nods once, still smiling as Harry turns to stand before me.
Hunter. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I can finally put a face to all those impressive reports I've read.
He offers me his hand, and I eagerly take it. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lieutenant General Addington, sir. He smiled warmly, keeping his grip on my hand and his other holding my forearm.
Harry is fine. None of that formal nonsense. If we're going to be working together for the foreseeable future, we might as well get familiar. Wouldn't you agree?
See? I like this guy. He's got good thinking. He's a nice person. He does nice things. He says hello to you. He shakes your hand. You know, he doesn't, come in and act like an asshole, Mr. Person with the cute purple on. Of course, Harry. He laughs, and I feel incredibly relaxed in his presence. Now let's get to business, shall we? August hands him a standard issue file sealed with wax bearing the Scarlet Enforcer emblem. They watch me carefully as Harry breaks the seal, a heavy sigh falling to his lips as he quickly scans the rapport. He closes his eyes, handing the papers back to August before he turns his back to us both. A silent moment pauses, and Harry rounds his shoulders, clicking his neck before he faces us.
You know, I've worked for the Enforcers for nearly 30 years, and I've never felt quite so useless. We've lost some of our best, our brightest, kindest.
Harry pauses, the waver in his voice evident as he composes himself.
I am truly at a loss, and I'm finding it hard to remove my emotions from the equation when it's my own people being needlessly slaughtered.
August averts their gaze, stealing a quick glance at me, seemingly sussing my... Sus? Among Us? Sussing my reaction, but also giving Harry a moment of privacy.
Nothing can bring them back, but we can bring those responsible to justice.
Yes, we're going to murder all the people, or take them to jail. I don't know. What are we supposed to do? It says hunter. I assume we're supposed to kill. Suddenly it hits me. The victims were hunters, weren't they?
Yes, they were hunters. Just like you.
Hey, that means someone's gonna come try to kill me. Harry huffs a quiet laugh, clearing his throat.
I know we're putting a great deal of responsibility on your shoulders, but I have never-ending faith that you're the one who can help end this madness. Do you have any questions?
Yes, how much do I get paid? That's the first thing I need to know. I'm kind of trying to, not die, so feel like I deserve a raise of some sort. Ask about the victims. Are there any patterns? No, don't care about the victims. Those are just hunters. Let's learn about patterns, shall we? Other than the timing of the murders, are there any other patterns I should be aware of? Harry's mouth twists into a grimace, and he shakes his head. Hope you don't think ill of me, but I'd rather not tell you at this point. Why not? The whole point is I'm supposed to solve things. He and August share a look, and August seems perplexed by the statement. Yeah, me too. Harry places his hand on August's shoulder, a reassuring touch, a smile, and he's looking back at me. Please just trust me, both of you. I'm not very trusting of somebody who won't tell me something that I probably ask and need to know of. I want you to go out there and see things with your own eyes, utilize your abilities, then we can discuss what you've already discovered. This is a complex case with many intricacies, but I think it's important that you don't let your opinions cloud your judgment. Also, maybe it's important that we're not getting overwhelmed with so much information to begin with. Think of it like me as a teacher. I don't want to overwhelm my students with all this information over and over and over again on how to do certain math things. Instead, I give them little pieces and they place it all together into a pattern that eventually gets more and more complex. Solving this case could be very similar to that, to where I could get more and more little pieces of evidence and stuff being like, hey, let's connect this with this, with this, with this, and it can build upon itself. Now, the problem with that is that I can cloud my judgment, like this person says, and I can get myself visualizing one certain path and trying to make that true. So there's certain ins and outs with this, but it makes sense why he's not telling me something, I guess. As terrifying and as baffling as this may seem, I see where Harry is coming from. Exactly, that's what I just said. I don't want to be influenced by an investigation that's so obviously failing. Makes sense too. Ask about the victims. How many victims do we have so far? 72. August looks at Harry for guidance, and Harry nods his permission.
4, but we anticipate more. The victim has shown up every 7 days for the past month.
I'm sorry, if it's every 7 days, that's a pattern.
Yes, with the most recent being 6 days ago, which is when I called for you. Enough is enough.
Oh, which means there's a murder happening tomorrow, is basically what they're saying.
We're due a body, if our calculations are correct.
Yeah, everybody loves good calculations. I'm a math teacher. Gotta have that calculations. Harry clears his throat, twists the gold band on his
I'd like you to
finger.
concentrate on the latest victim for now. Male, 46 years of age, a general. He was one of our best. We owe him this.
I take a deep breath before I ask my next question, feeling immensely guilty before it even falls from my lips. Were all of them burned? I saw the ash in the charred ground. Each body has been burned very badly, yes, to the point where we cannot determine what wounds they sustained beforehand. Not even with magic? He shakes his head, exchanging a look with August, one I can't quite place. Not even with magic. So, where would you like me to start? I almost expect him to tell me to figure it out myself, but Harry surprises me. Well, the most obvious places would be at Ibeck. The what?
Curious pair are the Woodridge twins. They've taken up residence in the old church in the middle of town. I'm sure you've seen it.
I saw it all right, big, imposing, and obviously very dilapidated. Yeah, I did notice it. It's quite hard to miss, but I assumed it was empty with it being in such a state of disrepair. We can only dream it becomes vacant, unfortunately. August clenches their fists, the faintest flicker of magic shimmering in their palms.
They're a plague upon this town, spouting their drivel and preaching to the dumb and ignorant. They're idiots.
Augustus. August takes a deep breath. Their magic dissipates.
Right. Sorry. Well, I'm not fond of them, if you couldn't already tell.
Yeah, you seem like you don't like them. Harry and I share a glance, and he smiles warmly, winking at me.
Oh, I think we got the picture. Now, as I said, I suggest you start with them. Just see what you make of them. You might need to play along with the woman. She tends to favor playing games.
Ooh, that is my
Anything
last
to
name.
baffle you.
I am. Hunter plays games, and she likes playing games. I think you picked the I think you picked the best person for the job. Have they already been questioned? Are they dangerous? Are they human? Many questions I would love to know the answer to. Harry shrugs, and August's annoyances at him being so unbothered is obvious.
Yes, they're human, and yes, they've been questioned. Hunter Merriman saw to that, but she and the woman have a rather tumultuous relationship.
That's not suspicious at all. Their alibi is solid. They have a guard, a human who has connections to Clan Casimir. She has no reason to support the Ibeck other than just doing her job. I'd still be interested to hear what you think of her, though.
So, in theory, they're harmless, but they do have the people's ear for some bizarre reason.
They prey on fear, and the town is infected with that right now. Be cautious of them. They certainly won't take kindly to you.
Oh, I think the General can handle them just fine. Have some faith, August.
August waves their hand dismissively, wandering over to a filing cabinet that's nestled in the far corner, whilst muttering something under their breath. A warm hand touches my arm. We trust you, D-Dog.
Now, once you've spoken to them, I suggest just going where your gut tells you. There are plenty of other Lunarians for you to get to know, so just take today to really find your feet. I must meet with August and some of the other generals now, but please report back to us in the morning. Unless you find any damning evidence, of course, in which case, report back immediately.
I nod, glancing over at my superior, who has taken upon himself to dive headfirst into yet another pile of paperwork. Trust no one, right?
Not a bloody soul. Suspect everyone. Question everything.
I close the door behind me, leaving August and Harry with their discussion. I feel a bit overwhelmed, but ready to finally start my investigation to hopefully end all this chaos. So, I'm not going to end the episode yet. I'm just taking a little bit of a pause. Right now, if you like this video, please hit the like button. It makes me feel happy. Also, I guess this is going to be a can we solve the murders kind of game? Like an investigation game. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe because I just didn't read the description of the game and I just saw cute artwork and I was like, hey, I should play this. Click the button. So does that mean the people that we've met so far are also suspects? I can't rule them out until the game tells me to rule them out, right? So I take a deep breath and straighten my clothes, feeling ruffled from both that initial heated encounter and the brief but semi-informative conversation with the Lieutenant General. As I turn to leave, I spot Piper leaning against a wall. She looks stoic, her gaze fixed on the floor, but she perks up when she spots me approaching. Ah, oi, D-Dog, I can call you that, can't I? She makes a quiet, frustrated noise and closes her eyes. She shakes her head, exhaling sharply before she meets my gaze. Listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that exchange. I couldn't bring myself to leave without apologizing for my behavior both today and in the tavern the other day.
It's been a rough few weeks, and I often let my passion overrule any rational thoughts that I promise I am capable of having.
Good. Glad she's apologizing.
It's unbecoming of me.
I'm taken aback by the vulnerability of her words. This isn't the Piper I thought I'd have to become accustomed to. Whew, can't speak today. Piper, she raises her hand to halt my words, calloused fingers curling into a fist.
Please, just let me apologize, all right? Then we can pretend I never acted like a complete asshole, and you can go and do your job.
So, she sticks out her hand, her daggers clinging noisily where they rest at the holster in her back.
The name's Piper Merriman.
She rolls her eyes, taking a deep breath before her next sentence.
Major Piper Merriman.
She throws me a wicked grin. I can't help but laugh. Oh, so I can do hearts towards multiple people. However, I know she doesn't like the other person, so I don't want to get her. I'm just gonna say you're allowed to be upset. I place my hand on top of hers, carefully lowering it to her side. You really don't have to apologize, Piper. I know how hard this must be for you. She clears her throat, her grin morphing into a wry smile. Yeah, well, still no reason to be a twat to you. It's not your fault. Her smile widens, her eyes sparkling, and I sense that she's up to no good. Was it, D-Dog, did you plan all of this so you'd get to come here to meet me, the infamous Hunter Merriman? I huff a laugh and shake my head quicker than is probably necessary. Don't let her head grow too much, but she won't... What? Don't let your head grow too much, you won't fit through the doors. She studies August's office door with twisted lips. She makes a disgusted noise, her nose crinkling.
Ugh, and be stuck here with Willenheim. Perish the thought.
Why don't you like them? They seemed friendly. Piper glances at the clock before turning to me to roll her eyes. It's because she got demoted. That's probably why then.
Ugh, I better get going. I have an inevitably worthless mission to get on with. People in this town are adept at mistaking common house cats for ghastly creatures. Must be something in the water.
I should go too. Yes, of course. Now off you go. Save Lunaris and all that, and I'll see you around, D-Dog. She turns on her heel and heads for the exit, pulling her chestnut hair up into a messy bun as she goes. I gather my wits, checking my supplies and weapons, and adjusting my armor. It's time to begin. It's a strangely beautiful day in Lunaris. Regardless of the biting cold, the sky is clear and the cobblered streets are abuzz with the smiling faces of townfolk strolling to the local market with empty baskets and full pockets. There's certainly a different vibe to the last time I walked the street. No panic, no haste. As I draw nearer to the center of the town, I can see the imposing white building. Scarlet flags sway in the wind on the roof, but as I look closer, I can see that they've tattered and dirtied. The twins may be very well human, but the way my stomach drops a twist as I approach the weathered wooden door tells me I ought to be shocked by what I'll find inside. I push open the heavy doors, and the side of which I'm met with snatches. Yeah, what? Let's try that again, shall we? I push open the heavy doors, and the sight that I'm met with snatches the breath from my lungs. This place is huge! Its domed ceiling was seemingly once decorated with an intricate painting, but the layers have cracked and peeled over time, and nothing more than the remnants of what looks like a starry night sky cling to it. The furniture is caked with a thick layer of dust, and the pews are in disarray and covered with the strange etchings that they look like they've been carved into cheap wood with a blunt nail. There's a lot to take in, but I'm not here to scour this ruin for evidence. I'm here to talk to the inhabitants. The dread that's now firmly seated in the pit of my stomach churns violently, but it's something old, something that lingers. I anticipate that I might find a lot more than I'm bargaining for if I truly desire, but I need to focus. I need to find the Woodridge twins. As if by magic, two pairs of startling bright blue eyes emerge from the shadows near the destroyed pulpit. Hello? Hello, Hunter. We were expecting you. To say they're unusual would be an understatement, and they're not at all what I expected. Question them immediately? Nah, we're gonna start slow. I offer her a small, friendly smile, however forced it may be. Word travels fast in Lunaris. I'm Hunter Plays Games. She narrows her eyes at me, suspicious for the briefest of moments before she's smiling unnervingly again. Despite her best efforts at apparently trying to be cute, it's still terrifying. I'm Aurora, and this is my brother, Armorus. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Hunter Plays Games. I nod politely, not quite sure which of them I should be focusing my attention on. Armorus doesn't appear to enjoy talking, or maybe he's simply not permitted to. His overbearing sister is clearly the leader of the two. I'm gonna address the guy. See what happens. Armorus seems uneasy and far less abrasive than his sister, and I turn my attention to him. His eyes widen almost comically. He resembles a startled forest animal. Armorus, can you tell me a little about the church and what you do here? I bet she answers for him. His mouth twists into a dissatisfied snarl as he begins to speak. Aurora swiftly interrupts him. Armorus, we haven't even offered our visitor a drink. Such a terrible first impression we must have given you, Hunter Plays Games. Armorus sighs loudly, giving up without a fight. I'm fine, thank you. I'd really like to ask you a few things and be on my way. It's weird that she's like controlling. She's controlling. What do you know about the way? What is Zybeck? I clear my throat, trying to not to be distracted by their unnatural stillness. Can you explain to me what you do and why? They share a look, and Armorus nods once under his sister's ice-cold gaze. Our purpose is simple. We spread the word of the night, of those that are oppressed and murdered in cold blood. And who exactly are they oppressed? She giggles. It does sound musical, but edging on maniacal. The creatures, of course. I look at Armorus, and he drops his gaze, color sweeping across his pale cheeks. Is my answer not satisfying, Hunter Plays Games? Surely you know that the institution that you serve brings harm to innocents? That the creatures that you kill are nothing more than confused and lost, merely looking for salvation? I pause, carefully contemplating my response. My adult life has consisted of seemingly bloodthirsty creatures trying to mindlessly murder innocent people, and in turn trying to kill me as I protect them. I see no desire for salvation in that. I appreciate that there are creatures who don't intend to harm anyone, even some that are kinder than most humans. But, I smile again and take a deep breath. But I cannot bring myself to understand how you can so blindly support the slaughter of your own people. Armorus frowns deeply, and I swear I see him shaking his head at me, but it's just subtle enough for his sister not to notice. Because humans are inferior and pathetic. We infest and corrupt the earth by dedicating our time and resources to ridding it of the only things that give our wretched species any hope. She inhales sharply, calming herself and brushing her hands over the front of her skirt. So, Hunter Plays Games, to answer your question, we are here to protect creatures, just as you are here to destroy them. What do you know about the murders? I'm sure you're very aware of the recent murders in the area. Can you tell me anything that may be useful to my investigation? Aurora steals her gaze, unblinking, when her fingers clasp tightly in front of her. We saw nothing, and we have an alibi. I look at Armorus, startled that he actually spoke. His voice is strangely soft and comforting. Regardless, his words sound practiced and rehearsed, aka he is 100% hiding something. He looks nervous, lad. He'd rather be anywhere else but here, and his eyes keep darting to the door behind me. Nothing at all? You're stationed right beside the graveyard where the last hunter's body was discovered. You're telling me you didn't hear a thing? He was brutally murdered, set alight, and burned to ash, yet he didn't scream or call for help? Aurora's lips curls at the corner, her eyes turning dark. My brother speaks the truth, Hunter Plays Games. Question us all you like, but we've been through this with your insufferable predecessor. Just like Harry said, they apparently have an ironclad alibi, but my suspicion does not waver. Exactly so. She is telling him to not talk at all. He obviously knows something, but is listening to her because she is a bitch. So, we need to somehow convince him to get away from her so we can talk to her. I nod once, noticing Amorous' gaze burning into me, and though I cannot gauge how he's feeling, my gut tells me he has something to say. Yeah, he does. Something he wouldn't dare with his sister by his side. Yeah, he does. Like he's scared. Yeah, he is. I'm starting to feel like Harry sent me here just to unnerve me. Surely he knew this is what I would be faced with. Still, I have little to nothing to work with here, and as the twins continue to stare me down, I think about his parting words. Suspect everyone, question everything. You truly have nothing else to say regarding the situation? Aurora stands firm, her lips curling into a wolfish grin once more. Not a thing. It was ever so wonderful to make your acquaintance, though. Truly. Do stop by again. Our doors are open to everyone. We're more than happy to accommodate you should your agency need to question us for a third time. Armorous gives me a look again, and I wonder if it would be possible to somehow get him alone. I have a feeling I can get a lot more out of him than I have from her. Thank you, Armorous. On my way out, I see a small, neatly wrapped package sitting by the doorstep. I bend down to check the label, and written on it as elegant script words are Ji Shua and Armorous's name paired with a small heart. I may not know what it means, but I know a demonic language when I see one. Just as I suspected, there might be more to Armorous Woodridge than meets the eye. What if they're not exactly twins? I mean, they looked very similar, but what if, like, I don't know, there's a spell to make him look so and he's actually, like, not human? That could be something. What if they have, like, a pet something? What if, I don't know. I walk through the center of the town for a while, getting to know the buildings and watching the people that pass me by. Lunaris turns into a quiet, nervous town when the sun begins to set, and I wonder if it's only recently lost its warmth. I consider heading into the graveyard, something tugging at me and telling me that there's more to find, but hello there, Alcar suddenly appears between the crooked houses, sending two children that were playing in the street scattered.
What the hell have you been doing in that damned church? Are you feeding into their bullshit already?
You should know I was questioning them, doing my job, Mr. Wolfman. He pauses, huffing a sharp breath through his nose.
I thought you'd be different. Just like everyone said you would be. How stupid of me to want to believe them.
You don't judge? This certainly isn't the first time I've been caught off guard by an angry lichen, but it's safe to say that I don't need to fear for my life here. Maybe. He does look pretty pissed. It's not what you think, Alcar. I was just questioning them. He scoffs, rolling his eyes. His hands are shaking, but he balls them in a fist when he catches me looking. Is that so? And why should I believe you? I don't even know you. No, you don't, which is why you should consider giving me the benefit of the doubt. I'm just trying to do my job. There you go. Good job, telling them things. Do you suggest I just ignore the very obvious cult in the middle of the town? His wolf ears flicker back and forth, and he unclenches his fist. You were just questioning them? Of course I was they were creepy, and I'm not into cults. I nod. Yes, I was hardly agreeing with them on their hatred for, well, me. He rolls his eyes at me, standing his ground. Something has me curious, and I can't resist asking. They want to protect you from the likes of me, so why do you despise them so much? Great question, me?
Because they couldn't care less about those of us that don't enjoy killing humans mindlessly. Because we're not real creatures if we stay out of trouble and befriend humans or each other.
So they only like the evil ones. Okay, that makes sense. So if you dare to act even remotely human, you're the enemy too. He smirks, brows raised.
Nah.
Oh, my bad. Alcar is apparently defensive to a fault, but I sense that under the surface, he's probably just scared, maybe a little lonely, like a small puppy. It must be hard to be feared like that when you've done nothing wrong. At least I don't think he has. He is kind of a bastard, though. Were you following me? Alcar, were you following me? He bristles, frowning deeply. Don't flatter yourself. I can just smell the twins a mile away.
I just like to keep an eye on things. Especially them. And especially strange new hunters who appear out of nowhere. Then proceed to hang out with those creeps.
I was just questioning them. Well, cross my heart and hope to die. My visit was innocent.
I would be careful making that statement here. Someone might take you up on it.
I laugh, but he's probably right. So you just happen to conveniently be hiding in an alleyway to jump out on me then? Something like that, yeah. A moment passes, and Alcar restlessly shifts from one foot to the other. He doesn't seem incredibly satisfied with my answer about questioning the twins, but I can't really do much more to convince him, nor do I care right now. So where are you heading now? Do you live nearby? He narrows his eyes at me, clearly contemplating if he wants to divulge such information. Why? I'd like to get to know you. Can't I just try to get to know you a little better? And why would you want to do that? Because you're cute. I offer him a smile and I shake my head, incredulous that he so obviously suspects the worst from everyone. Because I think there's more to you than meets the eye. Am I not allowed to be curious? He narrows those vivid scarlet eyes, meeting my gaze and holding it. I suppose you are. It continues to stare me down, taking a tentative step closer.
So, if I did let you get to know me a little better, what then?
Goodness, the way he said that, though. I contemplate his question carefully, taking him in and surveying him from head to toe. Well, for starters, I'd buy you some shoes. There you go. Way to a wolf's heart. Give him some shoes. He smirks, his curled lip curling at the corner. He looks handsome when he smiles, a little softer. How thoughtful of you, but you wouldn't be the first to try. No. He shakes his head, wiggling his bare toes against the cobblestones. I run faster without them. And who exactly are you running from?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
We share a quiet laugh, something passing between us. It's warm, and I feel like I'm getting to experience the real Alcar for the first time. Or at least I hope. Funny.
I'm a funny guy.
Yeah, you're not a guy. Well, I guess you're a guy. I don't know. He glances up at the sky, muttering something under his breath before he sets his gaze upon me once again.
It's getting dark, and there's a cold drink with my name on it at the Wolf. As much as I'd love to stay standing in the middle of the street talking to Lunaris' new favorite person, I'd better dash.
Can I come drink with you? I would like a rum and coke. Oh, no. Oh, hello. I like your tail. I like your face. He turns as if he's about to leave, but he pauses, pointing at the Ibex. The building looms over town, and it appears even more unsettling now I know who resides there.
Stay away from them. You might think you're safe because they're human, but words can do just as much harm as knives or claws in this town.
I get the horrible feeling that he's right, and that maybe I should have pushed harder with them. I should be asking him about the murders too, but Harry told me to trust my instincts, and right now, something is pulling me towards that graveyard, not towards the scrappy, sarcastic wolf. I'll be careful. See to it that you are, Hunter. The town might fucking implode if it has to deal with much more. He makes a dismissive noise, scowling at me, but he's unable to mask his obvious worry for my well-being. Not that I care. Anyway, I'll see you around. He offers me a half-assed wave paired with a decently mischievous grin, and then Alcar sinks back into the alley where he came. And next time, we will go into the graveyard. Here's a little tidbit. The graveyard looks so different at night, beautiful even. Fog twists and curls around my ankles as I walk, glimmering specks of vivid blue light sparkling in its haze. We will find out more. See if we can find some information about any of this stuff that's happening. This is a really pretty background to end on. And anyway, if you like this video, please like it. Hit the like button. Click the button. Make it go bling, because that's what it does on your phone. Did you know that? I just want to let you know that you should know that. Also, if you know anything else you'd like me to play, please comment. Say hi to me. You know you're pretty, right? I'm pretty too. You're pretty. You're pretty. Okay. I think that's it. Goodbye, everybody.